Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of life's biggest mysteries, our relationship with money. It's complicated, it's emotional, and for most of us, it's controlled by forces we can't even see. But that's about to change.
Right? Let's just dive right into this. We're taught from a super young age that talking about money is, I don't know, tacky or taboo. But this silence isn't just about being polite. It actually creates this huge vacuum where all these hidden beliefs and unexamined habits can just take root, and they quietly start dictating the entire course of our financial lives. And because we don't talk about it, we end up feeling totally isolated in our own money struggles. This creates a really destructive cycle. Secrecy leads to confusion, and that confusion almost always leads to a deep sense of shame. It is time to break that cycle, and we're going to do it by first understanding the forces at play.
Okay, so first we have to look inward. Seriously. Before we can even begin to talk about things like budgets or investments, we've got to confront the heavy emotional baggage that pretty much all of us carry when it comes to money.
Financial planner Shannon Ryan has this brilliant term for it: financial scar tissue. Think about it. Just like a physical wound leaves a scar, our past financial experiences, even the small ones, leave these invisible marks that influence our decisions for years and years, usually without us even having a clue. Now, this quote here, it really captures the story of a man named David. His number one goal in life was a secure retirement. He'd watched his parents struggle, and he was absolutely determined to have a different life. And he was doing great. He had $60,000 saved up in his 401k. But then his parents told him, "You're too young to be worrying about retirement. Go enjoy life." And just like that, that old financial scar tissue flared up. So, pressured by his family and friends, what did David do? He cashed out his entire 401k to buy a new car. That one decision, driven entirely by those invisible emotional wounds, cost him over $500,000 in potential retirement savings. Wow, that is one expensive car. And then there's this other really powerful internal force: money shame. Tammy Lally, a money coach, defines it as this intensely painful feeling of being flawed just because of your financial situation. And tragically, she saw its devastating power up close when her own brother, completely overwhelmed by financial distress and shame, took his own life. This shame isn't just a feeling, right? It drives our behavior. It's that person who always insists on picking up the check just to feel important. Or the one who's driving a luxury car they totally can't afford because they're terrified of what people would think if they knew the truth. All of these are just attempts to mask a deep-seated fear of being seen as unworthy. But here's the thing. It's not all just in our heads. Our internal battles with scar tissue and shame are often made so much worse by these powerful external forces that are working against us. So if you're struggling with money, listen to me. It's not just some personal failing. It is so important to recognize that the economic game is, in a lot of ways, rigged. And understanding how it's rigged can give us the clarity we need to navigate it a whole lot better. This chart right here brilliantly illustrates a massive shift in how wealth is created. Back in the 80s, if you'd invested, say, $1,000 in Apple's IPO, that's when it went public, you could have turned that into over $1 million. That wealth was created in the public stock market, where basically anyone could get in. But today, companies like Uber stay private for years, generating most of their wealth for a tiny circle of early, already wealthy investors. And this completely changes what an IPO even means. For the wealthy insiders, the IPO is their exit. It's their big chance to finally sell and cash out. But for the rest of us, that exact same moment is our very first chance to buy in. It's like we're being invited to the party just as the hosts are grabbing their coats and leaving. This systemic inequality, it's not just about Wall Street. It shows up in much more personal and frankly insidious ways. Our identities, our race, our gender, our background can become these barriers that determine whether we're seen as worthy of a loan, a job, or even a fair valuation. And for a staggering, real-world example of this, just look at the story of Carlette Duffy. She's a Black woman who had her home appraised twice, and the highest value she got was around $110,000. She was suspicious, so she ran an experiment. She took down all the photos of her family, removed any art depicting Black people, and then had a white male friend stand in for her at the next appraisal. The result? Her home was suddenly valued at $259,000, a nearly $150,000 increase. That is a system working against you. Okay, so after seeing the internal psychology and the external systems, it can feel pretty overwhelming, right?
But knowledge is power, and with this knowledge, we can start to write a brand new financial playbook, one that puts us back in control of our own lives. So the very first step is a major mental shift. We're often taught to focus on accumulating assets, the house, the stocks, the tree itself. But as financial expert Sissy Go explains, the real strength comes from the roots, and that's your income. Protecting and growing your ability to earn money is the absolute foundation of your financial health. This new playbook really redefines the whole point of having money in the first place. The goal isn't just to buy more stuff. The ultimate goal is to buy back your time. Think about it. Every dollar you earn represents a piece of your life that you traded for it. So what if you could reverse that transaction? What if you could use your money to reclaim your freedom and your choices? A whole movement has actually sprung up around this very idea. It's called FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. And despite the name, it's not just about quitting your job tomorrow. It's about getting to a point where working is a choice, not something you have to do to survive. And the best part is that the path to get there is based on surprisingly simple math. First, you figure out your target number. You just multiply your annual expenses by 25. That's your nest egg. Then, once you hit that number, you can safely withdraw 4% each year to live on, and theoretically never run out of money. It's a clear, actionable goal. So how do you actually get there? Well, it all comes down to a really simple tactical change in your order of operations. Before you pay your rent, before you pay your car loan or your credit card bill, you pay yourself first. This means your savings and your investments are the first and most important bill you pay each month, not just whatever's left over at the end. And when you start applying this new playbook, it does way more than just change your bank balance. It fundamentally transforms your entire relationship with money itself. We can finally break free from that toxic belief we all inherited, that our self-worth is somehow equal to our net worth. We can stop seeing money as this scorecard for our value as a person and start seeing it for what it truly is, a simple tool. A tool that, when we use it right, can build a life of freedom, security, and choice. So let's just recap this whole journey real quick. We've gone from being controlled by these invisible forces to actually understanding them. So what do? We acknowledge our financial scar tissue. We recognize the systemic headwinds. We start seeing money as a tool to buy back our time. We focus on strengthening our income roots. And we always pay ourselves first. And this, right here, is what it's all for. Getting to a place where this question isn't just some daydream. It's a genuine question about your future. A life where your choices are dictated by your passions and your purpose, not by your bank account. That, my friends, is real wealth.